Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of Marks of Maturity. I wanted to talk to us this week about counting the cost. The gospel absolutely is good news. There are no two ways about it. It's just phenomenal. It's incredible. It's astonishingly good news, and it's life-giving, and it's wonderful, and following Jesus is the best decision I ever made. But sometimes we want to talk about the benefits of following Christ, or even hope that following Jesus will translate into a better life here on earth. Now, there are aspects of that are true, but if our reason for following Jesus is that our bank account feels better, or our marriage is just somehow automatically better, or we just expect certain things to happen in our lives as a result of that decision, then Jesus has some words of correction for us, and they come to us in a couple of different places in the gospel, but particularly in Luke. And I'm going here from Luke chapter 9, verses 57 through 62. We have three encounters, and the first one I describe as the impulsive volunteer. It says, as they were walking along the road, a man said to him, "I will follow you wherever you go." Jesus replied, "Foxes have dens and birds have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head." I can relate to that guy. I can relate to that person who is like, yeah, you know what, Jesus? You've done these great things for us. I'll follow you wherever you want me to go. And having not taken stock of all that. And so Jesus just calls him out. He says, you need to think about what this means. Home might mean something different for you if you are a true follower of Jesus. So something to consider. The next two encounters here I just describe as the objection makers. The first one begins like this. He, being Jesus, said to another man, "Follow me." But he replied, "Lord, first let me go and bury my father." Jesus said to him, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." The second, or the last encounter here, is almost the same. It's a little bit different. It says, "Still another said, 'I will follow you, Lord, but first let me go back and say goodbye to my family.' Jesus replied, 'No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God.'" And those are weighty, weighty words. And there are some cultural aspects there that are worth kind of looking into a little bit. And yet the text says what the text says. Jesus calls for total devotion, for wholehearted following, for us to love the Lord our God with all our heart, mind, and strength. And that includes following him. So I just want to challenge you to think about your own followership of Jesus, your own faith, your own Christian faith. If we're following Jesus because we want everything to be better, then we've got something mixed up there. He calls us simply to follow him and then to trust him. And I believe that God will take care of us in the midst of that. So I have two closing questions for you. The first one is, what has God called you to do? I know that he's called you to walk with him, but what has he called you to do? What has he given you in terms of a life's purpose or mission? And so what is that? The answer to that question. And then the second one is have you considered the cost of doing that? Have you taken time and done the math and worked it out and gone, this is what I'm saying yes to? And just to kind of reckon with that, when Jesus says that last line there, "No one who puts a hand to the plow and looks back is fit for service in the kingdom of God." Those are powerful words, and words that we all need to take to heart. So go be a great follower of Jesus, do what he's asked you to do, and do it for the right reasons. Follow Jesus because he's worth following.